All right, so thank you very much for choosing GHOne TV. The program is News Tonight. Delight having you tonight. Well, we have the stories that you've been looking forward to. Before we bring you the details, let's look at some of the top stories that we have for you tonight. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, more trouble for Chef Smith as Guinness World Records say they are unaware of his attempt to break the longest cooking marathon. Tonight, we shall break down all the issues for you. Also coming up from our Labour Front, leadership of CLOGSAG failed to show up for scheduled meeting with National Labour Commission as strike action enters day one.
At 2 p.m. between CLOGSAG ministries and other stakeholders, yes. CLOGSAG couldn't turn up for that meeting, so we've waited for next week.
Allow me tonight take you to Parliament as Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin raises concern about increasing number of suits against the lawmaking house and its members. Well, he says the development may affect the work of the house.
Judiciary has no jurisdiction to try to pry into it. This is notice. We have to take this seriously, or else our legislative authority is being taken away from us.
And tonight's Communications Ministry commits to ensuring proper data protection for Ghanaians. Tonight, we want to share all these details and many more with you, including bringing you the latest happenings from our world of sports with Benghazi and also sharing with you some latest on the front of entertainment. Be my guest within the next 1 hour as we spend time with you and share all these details and many more with you. All right, so thank you very much for choosing GHOne TV. My name is Kweku. Let's take our very first story for the evening and hear the twists and turns that have greeted Ghanaians. Chef Ebenezer Smith's Guinness World Record attempt at the longest individual cook-a-thon seems unending as the record organizers, after declaring the widely circulated certificate of Chef Smith as fake, say they are not even aware of the supposed attempt by Smith. Well, Chef Smith in February began an attempt to break the existing Guinness World Records longest cooking marathon of 119 minutes, well, 57 minutes and 16 seconds, set by Irish Alan Fisher after supposedly cooking for some 35 days or 180 hours. Well, Chef Smith symbolically turned off his cooker on 6th March. He joined us on GH Today with Lily Mohammed a day after his confidence he was going to set a new record. Well, let's recap that particular interview with Lily Mohammed.
My name is Ebenezer Smith.
Okay.
I'm from Ketekrachi.
That's where you get your catchy powers. Some say that you were challenged or you were inspired by Chef Filer. Is that true?
Hidabasi is an inspiration to me.
Okay.
I don't know when any other person submitted the application, but my first application was submitted on June 2nd, 2023.
Okay.
And it was not approved. Then I submitted the second one November. Usually it takes 12 to 13 weeks for Guinness World Record to get back to you after you apply with the individual application. They also have a premium one which you get it in the next 3 days. That one is not for individuals, for organizations. So that's it.
You're sure that you follow through the rules? You're sure?
We did.
And you are very hopeful that you're bringing it home to Ghana.
We will.
You will?
Yeah, we will.
I like your confidence. But Chef, are you very confident that, I mean, in spite of all the failures, you will sail through?
Very, very confident, and then the Ghanaians should watch out for victory.
Ghanaians should watch out for victory.
All right, so 2 months of silence. Chef Smith, in the afternoon of yesterday, Tuesday, July 2, addressed the press to announce he had been adjudged the current holder, setting a new feat of some 802 hours and 25 minutes. Well, here are excerpts of the press briefing the chef did here in Accra.
I am incredibly humbled and honored to stand before you today as the Guinness World Record holder, cooking for 802 hours, 25 seconds. Cooking has always been a very true passion, my calling, and to be recognized as a global scale of my abilities is truly a dream come true. I have spent countless hours in the kitchen, intense pressure, daring sleepless nights, and days filled with uncertainty and doubt. But through it all, there was a glimmer of hope that kept me going. I believe that this dream will within reach, and by virtue of faith, I can proudly say that all that hard work has paid off by God's grace. To the judges of Guinness World Records, thank you for recognizing my accomplishment and giving me this incredible platform to share the heart and soul I put into every dish and every time spent in making them. We did our best to follow the guidelines and pushed our craft for excellence, the excellence we are celebrating today. I am deeply honored and humbled by this achievement. I am Millennium Chef Smith, Guinness World Record holder for the longest cooking marathon.
Well, so there, the interview with the press, and I'm still wondering where the figures were coming from and how confident, this press conference was. So, but Adam Kojo has joined me with a bit more details. Adam, thank you very much for your time tonight. So, help me with the current Guinness record holder when it comes to the cook-a-thon. I at some point I didn't get the figures right. If you can help me, and really the outcome after this interview, what we are getting.
Okay, so Kweku, Alan Fisher, who is actually an Irish from Ireland, actually was the record Chef Smith was seeking to break of 119 hours, 57 minutes and 16 seconds. However, Chef Smith at his press conference yesterday said that the Guinness World Record had basically honored him with 802 hours, 25 minutes as the new record holder. So, Kweku, that is where we started from.
So, yesterday, the announcement was made that, we have a new record holder. A lot of people leaped with joy to that news, but it turned out not to be so.
Yes, so what started, and I was telling Joshua earlier that, interestingly, in the past, if you remember the Hilda Bassi episode, immediately the announcement was made on social media. There were a lot of traction on social media. That's the first part. Then, when Hilda Bassi was dethroned, that is when Alan Fisher broke the record in October 2023, social media still went agog once again. So the question then is, if there is a Ghanaian who, mind you, has broken a 119-hour record to now set a new record of 802 hours, why wouldn't the organizers of the Guinness World Record go out and then start celebrating the person on social media? So, unfortunately, that's the first time was a red flag. So the question then was, okay, what then should we do? So, beyond this, I kept looking at, okay, can we have a certificate? Because usually when you get a certificate from the Guinness World Record, or when you get a record, the Guinness organization gives you a certificate.
So you are talking about the inconsistencies that you began identifying?
Yes, so there was the inconsistencies from the website part, because there was no publication on the website, among others. Then I said, okay, let me have a look at the certificate that had come. And then when we opened the certificate, it was just more like a Pandora box of inconsistencies between the one as put out by Chef Smith and then the one that is in circulation. So that is, first of all, the inconsistencies. So in saying the inconsistencies, there were basically about 6 things I saw. And if you have seen the certificate that was put out by Chef Smith, it had some very funny features on it. First of all, if you monitor the certificate issued in the past, the Guinness World Record certificate is never issued with writings in black. The writings are usually with some kind of blue. So it could be a sea blue, it could be a dark blue black, but it's never outright black.
But his was
totally black. That was the first red flag that came upon that. The second red flag that also came in to me was that usually in the frame there's just a single border line around your certificate. However, his came with two border lines, which was also very, very different. So if you look at the certificate, that is something else you will see. There was something that came up on social media that his frame was black and others were in silver. That in effect is not an issue because the Guinness World Record actually just gives you a certificate.
And then you would frame it.
Yes.
Okay.
So the focus was more on the certificate and not necessarily the frame.
But even in getting all these evidence, you still felt you didn't have that concrete, evidence to nail it. You still had a bit of doubts to say, could this guy be right about his certificate?
Well, certainly. And Kweku, even on the certificate, now I went down to the writings. So there's the outlook of the certificate, and then there were the writings. And over there were also three inconsistencies. The first inconsistency is that the world record never writes your record, the unit measurement in full. So say if you had done something that was in 23 hours, it would have been written HR and not HOURS. Unfortunately, like the full hours. Unfortunately, his was written that way. The minute was written in full and every other thing. That's the first part. The second inconsistency in the writing is that usually they acknowledge your country of origin, not your nationality. So they will say Kweku Temeng, Ghana, not Kweku Temeng, Ghanaian. But if you look at his certificate, it was Ebenezer Smith, Ghanaian. Then there was a last one that has to do with some grammar, but I'll leave that for that. So that was what I saw.
Don't tell me you're saying there was a grammatical error in there.
Exactly.
You don't think that from the Guinness World Record, they'll come up with...
It was basically a punctuation error. So in the last line, if you see on your screen, the very last two lines, usually when you read, it's a comma from. So when it says Kweku Temeng has won this, there's a comma before it says from 8th December to whatever date. However, his had a full stop before the from started, and that is not the standard. So once I saw this, I basically said, okay, this cannot be authentic. But then again, I am not an organizer, so what next was the best thing to do? So yesterday at about 6:30 p.m., we formally sent, in fact, I sent 4 emails. So I had 4 different email addresses, and my editors also pulled out some email address that we had, and we sent out the mail. Unfortunately, it went out probably at the time they had officially closed work.
Okay.
And this morning at exactly 8:32 a.m., I received a mail from the Guinness World Record.
Before then, let me mention that you can always trust EIB Network because, yes, the team is here. The research is solid. I mean, when it happened, we didn't reach out to any local person. We went straight to the source and said, can you give us answers to this?
Yes. So I put out, I sent an email.
So you share with me now the new things we're learning, actually.
Okay. So 2 things. So the first thing, I sent an email. In fact, I sent them a copy of the certificate to verify it for us. And this is the message that came as reply. And it was a very simple one. It says, hi, Adam. Thank you for your message. No, this is not true at all. He does not hold the Guinness World Record title, and that is not our certificate. The current and true holder is Alan Fisher, Ireland, who did 119 hours, 57 minutes, and 16 seconds. So this is what basically went out in the morning, signed by Madeleine Belfield, PR manager.
And I see, hi, Edem, addressed to you directly because you sent a mail.
It was a direct mail. And I sent 4 mail to 4 different email addresses, and it was just one that had a response. But thankfully, we got the closure there. However, there's a new revelation. I'll
come to the new revelation. Just hold on for me because there's one man I want to find out from if I can still call Chef Smith a chef. Let's engage Peter Agbavi, who is the General Secretary of the Chefs Association of Ghana, for more on this particular development. Well, Chef, thank you very much. I have engaged you because of Chef Smith, a member of your association. I want to find out first, is he a member of your association? Can I call him Chef?
Okay, good evening to our viewers and listeners. First of all, yes, you can call him a chef because he is a professional chef. But the point of correction is he is not a registered member of the Chefs Association of Ghana.
No, establish that point again. He's a chef because, yes, he's into cooking or something, but he is not a registered member of your association. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
What do you make of the reports that Guinness World Record is not aware of his attempt? At least we saw the effort he put in. Some of you were cheering behind him because it was a bold attempt to put Ghana on the map. I mean, how do you feel about the response we are getting?
First of all, when Chef Smith started his cook-a-thon, we got to know actually because I think his publicity to start the program was short. So we got to know at a point in time where he had already started his cook-a-thon, and that's what we took a notice of the fact that he was wearing a jacket that had our logo imprinted in it. So we contacted his team to officially inform them that if he wants to actually go with our logo, then he should do the needful by registering with the Chefs Association of Ghana. It's due to that during all the program, during the cook-a-thon, we never shared any of his videos on our social media platforms because he was not an official member. He didn't register during that time that we contacted them. So after his cook-a-thon, we didn't hear from him again until yesterday when we saw his press conference coming out. We even tried, I think my president had people try calling him to find out what was going on, but unfortunately there was no response from his end.
So again on my platform, you were saying that Chef Smith boldly took your logo, embossed it on his outfit, the chef outfit most probably. At the time he was not a member. And even consistent efforts to get him regularize his activities because of all the euphoria he was drawing, he still didn't budge to register as a member.
Unfortunately not. He didn't do. I'm the national secretary. I do all the registrations. I have no details of Chef Smith in my data.
Explain to me how the association feels after hearing that the certificate that he put out there was fake.
It's unfortunate because Chef Smith, as an individual, once you are qualified to be a chef, we give you that respect. We have a lot of chefs in Ghana. It's not every chef who is a member or a registered member of our association, but we give every chef that respect. So it was heartbreaking. It was unfortunate that we saw a colleague chef, I don't know, coming out with this issue with fake certificates. We don't know whether it was his own doing or we don't know. Up to now, we've not been able to speak with him, so we don't actually know what happened. But it's an unfortunate.
But I want to find out from you.
Very much.
It's different from you have not been able to hear from him. Most probably, you have not made any efforts. I want to know right after this information coming out. I'm sure your president is on your neck as the organizer here in the region or chairman here in the region. Have you reached out to him to say, look, you bear the chef name. What is really happening? Have you tried soliciting some answers?
Yes, I think since yesterday, even from the time the press conference was, when we noticed the press conference was going on, we started trying to reach out to him. Because even then, we didn't even know that it was a fake certificate, but we wanted to be sure because at the end of the day, he can't be representing the chefs when something like that was going on and the name of the association. So we wanted to find out from him whether it was authentic what he was doing. Because when I saw the press conference, when my president told me, I quickly went to the Guinness World Records platform to check, to verify. Unfortunately, I didn't see anything from there. So then my president actually asked that we put a communique, but I asked that we have to wait because we really need to get information from the world chef, and then we want to hear his side of the story too. But to no avail after all the contacts that we knew to get to him. We didn't get him.
I am very hard pressed with time, but I'll allow you some 30 seconds. If this would ever happen again, next time if anybody would want to attempt the marathon and it relates to chefs, it relates to your association, how would you want the person to go about it? And please spend just 30 seconds in giving me answers to this.
Okay, so we have one that is in the pipeline, but the person did the needful. He contacted us because we need to give you the guidelines as an association. We need to support you. We need to give you the guidelines. So once you follow those guidelines, you will be able to get our full support. So anyone who wants to attempt the Guinness World Record, the best thing to do is to just contact the Chef Association of Ghana for support, and we will do all the best we have.
And you have another person in the pipeline. This one has not died down. You have another person in the pipeline.
It's something on the.
And you think Ghanaians, we should support this one, right? Anyway, we will let you. We will let it go because we're shivering right now, and a lot of us are boiling with anger. But Adam Kojo, let me end up with you. Thank you very much for your time. Adam, what is the new you were picking up on this particular matter?
Okay, so after we did our work and put it out, other journalists started to follow up, and this is an email received by one Kweku of Graphic Online, and it's 4 direct questions. I'll go through the 2 and the answers that came. Now, was the Guinness World Record aware of this attempt? The answer is no, we were not aware. Second question, has the application for his attempt been received or assessed? The response, we have not received an application from him for this attempt. So beyond the whole inauthenticity of the certificate, the fakeness in there, what actually is coming out is that, for all you know, he never even put in a request to have a cook-a-thon.
But maybe Ghanaians should check closely because maybe he's been duped or something. Maybe he applied, he got a response and started working. They said pay this amount and he paid. Don't you think, because the whole thing with the confidence and everything around it, don't you think this guy can be scammed online or something?
I think right now it's to him to come and answer. We are picking some leads, but we'll want to be sure before we put it out. But it's for him. Chef Smith, wherever you are, kindly come out. Let's have a conversation. He was on GH today and said he was confident of winning. Now that all this has come, he should come to GH today. We are open and we'll talk to him.
Adam, thank you very much. And that's a call from Adam asking you, Chef Smith, wherever you are, to come out. I don't know whether to add. Mr. Smith, come out and answer questions on this particular one. That will close it for Insight tonight. It was proudly brought to you by Pepsodent. With Pepsodent, every smile matters. All right, so thank you very much for keeping faith with us. If you're just joining us, this is News Tonight. And my name is Kweku. Now we take you to the courts, where the Supreme Court has fixed July 17, 2024, to deliver its ruling on the 2 applications filed by broadcast journalist Richard Dela Sky and researcher Dr. Amanda Odoi, seeking to injunct Parliament from transmitting the anti-LGBTQ plus bill to the President for its assent. Well, this was after the panel of 5 presided over by Chief Justice Gertrude Saki-Tokonu. The Chief Justice had arguments from all parties. Well, in televised court proceedings, lawyers from Dr. Amanda Odoi and Richard Dela Sky both made separate arguments for the application for interlocutory injunction. EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent Mutala Enusa has more.
The 2 controversial suits before the Supreme Court has been heard. Today marks the 2nd day that the Supreme Court is dealing with these 2 subject matter. Dr. Amanda Odoi's request was the first that the panel of 5 delved into. In fact, what their lawyer, Ernest Akun, was seeking was straightforward: an interlocutory injunction against the Speaker of Parliament and clerk from transmitting the bill to the presidency for his assent. On the other hand, the Attorney General also made the point that the Supreme Court should hold in abeyance the bill for the substantive matter to be dealt with. But of course, counsel for the Speaker of Parliament and the clerk, Titus Sorry, opposed to that particular request and made arguments in relation to that, and said that urged the court to refuse that particular request for interlocutory injunction. And on the second leg of the case, which happens to be the one filed by broadcast journalist Richard Delasky, what the parties have also done was that even though the matters look similar in nature, there were certain points that did not form part of the earlier argument or submissions made by lawyers in relation to Dr. Amanda Odoi's case. So what Kweku Abedu, counsel for Richard Kai, indicated to the court was that Parliament failed to satisfy certain requirements before going ahead to pass that particular bill, and so his point is that the Supreme Court should injunct the bill from being transmitted to the president. Lawyer for the Attorney General, Ahmad Say, also made submission to the effect that the Supreme Court should look at the questions that arose, if there is any question of law, to make a determination to save. Of course, counsel for the Speaker, yet again, Mr. Tadosori, made submission to the effect that the Supreme Court should refuse that particular request, asking the Apex Court to stop Parliament from transmitting the bill. His argument is that it has been dealt with, it has been passed, but that is not the end of the whole process. It has to go to the presidency. The presidency will have to look at it. If there's any questions of that has to be considered, it will have to come back to Parliament for Parliament to rectify whatever needs to be rectified. So it is not conclusive, and the court should not injunct the processes. The Supreme Court, a panel of 5 presided over by the Chief Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu, has adjourned both cases to July 17, where the panel will be making a ruling on both counts. The court has indicated that 2 separate rulings will be delivered in relation to each of the applications before the Supreme Court. But what has the counsel for Richard Sky, Kweku Abedu, been saying in relation to today's court sitting?
This matter has been pending for over a year. And if indeed that controversial report, or that report which has remained the bane of controversy in court, was with them, why do you wait after arguments? Why do you wait after all has been said and done before you come out to say that such a bill existed? What were the researchers of Parliament doing, and what were his own researchers doing? So to the Chief Justice, this will not be factored in the ruling of the court, but it can be factored into the final determination of the rate. And I think she was perfectly
in any case, by procedure, you need to come to court for leave.
You don't go by this.
To court for leave.
You have to seek leave
to file a supplementary affidavit.
File a supplementary affidavit and attach an.
All right, so away from the Supreme Court, let's bring you back into the studios and get some details here. Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has warned the recent phenomenon of citizens filing suits against passage of bills or the work of Parliament will render the legislature useless. Richard Sky and Amanda Odoi are at the Supreme Court seeking to injunct Parliament from transmitting the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Well, Alban Bagbin revealed he has been inundated with suits seeking to stop Parliament from undertaking its legitimate duties, although the Speaker said his comments are without prejudice to the ongoing Supreme Court hearings. He urged MPs to pay serious attention to the development lest they lose their relevance.
There is no business for anybody, including the courts, to consider. Because the Constitution and the enabling legislation takes care of all these challenges until, if it is a law, it is assented to by the President. Judiciary has no jurisdiction to try to pry into it. This is notice. We have to take this seriously, or else our legislative authority is being taken away from us by other agencies and arms of government. That should be resisted by this House, or else your being here is of no consequence. The law is very clear on this. And so until a bill is assented to by the President, nobody has any business to take that process that is being considered by the House to the court. And I don't want to preempt the judgment of the Supreme Court in this matter. But I'm giving notice because on daily basis, I'm being served with writs as a party on matters that are being considered by the House. That's why I'm compelled to say these things. And so please, I know that the former minority leader just say he will exploit, but he will not proceed to do so. I know that. Yes, chair of the lesson, yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I wanted to...
All right, so yes, the Speaker of Parliament, they're obviously telling parliamentarians that he's inundated by the suits against bills that are with them going to the president to get that assent needed. And our concerns here, we'll try to get more information on it. So the big question remains, say, the citizenry, is it that now we are well aware of the situation, the issues coming up, and as a result, we would want to get answers for it. I would shortly be going over the phone lines. I would be engaging a member of ASEPA to get, all the details of this one. As and when we are able to raise him on the line, we'll bring him to speak to the issues here. But of course, the Speaker is worried. Already, Richard Sky is there, and he is not too happy. All right. As and when we're able to put him on the line, we would share more with you. But for now, allow me go to other matters. As the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, I'm talking about CLOGSAG, has opted out of a scheduled meeting with the National Labour Commission, that's the NLC, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and the Ministry of Finance and Employment and Labour Relations. Well, this decision comes as a result of CLOGSAG's ongoing industrial action, which was prompted by the government's failure to implement a new salary structure that was agreed upon in year 2020. Well, there's more in the following report.
The ongoing strike is significantly affecting government operations, as most offices visited earlier have been deserted by members of the association. The members who did not show up for work subsequently failed to appear for a meeting called by the National Labour Commission on Wednesday. Following a lengthy wait of nearly an hour without any representatives from CLOGSAG present, the meeting was adjourned to a later date.
Yes, a meeting was scheduled today at 2 p.m. between CLOGSAG, the ministries, and other stakeholders, yes. CLOGSAG couldn't turn up for that meeting, so we've put it for next week, Wednesday, same time, for us to gather here. That is why we have to gather here and have it discussed. Yes. Well, it's a meeting that we have to address their concerns with. So this is not the first time that we are meeting on that issue. I think an MOU was signed somewhere last 2 years back then. So we need to meet on the round table and have the issues addressed. So they have a concern. Otherwise, we wouldn't have appended our signature on the MOU.
The Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission characterized the absence of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, CLOGSAG, as contemptuous to the Commission, implying a deliberate disregard for its authority.
It's an unfortunate development, and I think that is contemptuous of the Commission. They were the first to write to us that certain agreements or understanding reached between themselves and government, led by the senior presidential advisor, Honorable Safumafo, and with the Ministry of Employment, Labour Relations, Ministry of Finance, have not been implemented. Then that is to do with the new salary structure they are asking for. And that having agreed on something as far back as 2022 to begin in 2023, and now we are in the middle of 2024, if nothing was done, they were going to proceed on strike.
Sure. Attempts to contact CLOGSAG to determine the reason behind their absence have been unsuccessful. However, a new meeting date has been scheduled for Wednesday, July 10th, 2024.
And you can share your concerns with us on our social media platforms. Civil servants are out there on strike, how it is affecting government business. But let's go back to our earlier story. I was trying to raise a resource person to speak to us on the concerns raised by the Speaker of Parliament. I currently have Rashid Darman. He is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, ASEPA, and he joins us for more on that particular story. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Rashid. Let me find out from you. So, first of all, what do you make of the increasing rate of suits against members of Parliament and the lawmaking house in general? I mean, is it a case that citizens now are becoming used to the legal system and, of course, would want to exercise their right, or and should be encouraged, or we should be worried as a Speaker of Parliament is worried?
No, I think we should be worried. And I say this because I think it's a kind of dangerous path that was initially taken by members of Parliament. And it has emboldened some citizens. Because, look, let's just pause for a minute and ask a basic question. The judiciary exists to interpret laws and policies that are passed by Parliament. These days, what we see is even before the law is passed, people run to the court. So what is the court exactly getting involved, and what is the court looking at? What is the court interpreting? On the altar of politics, this kind of, the powers of Parliament is being sacrificed, and the encroachment of another branch of government is being encouraged. And I think that this is very dangerous for our democracy.
All right, just within few seconds, can you advise, having followed parliamentary activities for years now, can you advise on what you think should be done? Should it turn into law, and then if you're not okay, you will go then to the courts, or you think that, look, this approach, we should just relook at it?
Well, I think perhaps a conversation between the judiciary and the legislature needs to take place, so that some of these matters are dismissed upfront. And I mean, the complainants are told to wait until Parliament finishes its work. And if it infringes on any constitutional provision, then the court can come in. And I think a conversation between the Chief Justice and the Speaker of Parliament is in order on this matter.
Rashid Darman, thank you very much for joining us tonight and speaking to us on this particular subject. Well, we will now take business shortly. It is being brought to you right away. Do stay. All right, so allow us to appreciate Bill's Microcredit for making it possible for us to bring you business. Of course, if you're looking for that loan, you should be talking to them immediately. In business tonight, Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Charles Champon, says the prioritization of data governance is crucial to the success of governance digitization agenda. While speaking during the launch of the new Neutral Data Center, Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitization, Charles Champon, said government's investment in IT systems and technologies would best be maximize the use of data by unlocking its potential, promotion, data sharing, and reuse for the public good.
Data Center is designed to meet the growing demands of businesses and organizations seeking reliable and efficient data management solutions. The facility boasts of ample power capacity and a wide range of connectivity options, ensuring seamless operations and robust data handling capacities. Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Charles Champon, while speaking at the launch, said the new data center feeds into government digital drive.
These are very exciting times for the communications sector in Ghana. The ministry is championing government's digital agenda to ensure that Ghana participates fully in this fourth industrial revolution. Cabinet has recently approved the digital economy policy with 5 prioritized thematic areas to enable the ministry to track the digital journey in Ghana. These areas are universal access and connectivity, digital government, digital skills, data and emerging technologies, digital entrepreneurship.
Managing Director of Parks Data Centers, Bright Teria, expressed his excitement about the new facility's potential to drive digital transformation in Ghana.
Digitization has become the order of the day. This means that we're going to generate a lot of data in the country. And generation means that we need a well-carved out facility to store this data. And that is why we did the expansion. But we don't want to wait for the D-Day when data has become a lot in the system and then we don't have data centers to store them. So we have taken the initiative to increase the capacity that we have, and we've done the expansion whilst we wait for the digitization agenda where a lot of data will be generated in the country.
Chairman of Parks, Raza Hasnani, also disclosed that the over $30 million equity investment in park data centers is part of a broader strategy to create the connectivity required to accelerate Africa's digital transformation.
I don't know who says that we have enough capacity. We do not. There is enough need for data centers for many more to be built. And also remember, a data center like PAX is not just like a company having data in-house. This is much more sophisticated. There are multiple systems, fire suppression systems, electricity backup systems, business continuity systems, which completely separate a switching room in a company from a data center. So I think there is much more room to expand.
The park data centers is expected to attract diverse range of clients, including financial institutions, healthcare providers, government agencies, and tech startups, all seeking to leverage advanced data infrastructure to gain a competitive edge.
All right, so let's do more business stories. And here, the NDC parliamentary candidate for South Tong, Maxwell Lokoto, says the next NDC government under John Dramani Mahama must address the issue of youth unemployment in the area. Well, Lokoto, who believes the South Tong parliamentary seat will remain an NDC seat even after the December 2024 polls, said the most pressing issue that affects the constituency currently is the issue of unemployment.
I will do everything possible to harness the votes. I know the votes are there. All I need to do to mobilize the base and to make sure that people go out to vote and see in the ground. I am assured that, inshallah, God is going to help me. What is most critical for me is for John Dramani Mahama, the flag bearer of the NDC, to get about 95% of the votes from South Tong so that then he can harness the presidency of Ghana. That is my headache. That's what I dream about, and that's what I want to make sure happens. What I wish that Mahama government addresses in South Tong, which I see to be a teething problem, is youth employment or unemployment, whichever way you want to look at it. There are a lot of the teeming youth who needs job, and so I think that the 24-hour economy comes in handy. Once it is implemented, a lot of the youth are going to get votes, and I'm sure that is going to solve the problem of South Tong.
All right, so that'll do for business for tonight. So I would want to say a big thank you to Bill's Microcredit for making it possible for us to bring you business. So when we come back after this break, we're coming with some sports updates with Benghazi. All right, the giant in Ghana sports journalism, Benghazi, has joined me at this moment with the latest from the sports world.
Thank you very much. I don't know about a giant bit though, but thank you very much for that, Kweku. Now, I got some news from Wimbledon where Carlos Alcaraz together with Raducanu Coco Golf have all progressed. I've got the details of that, plus some stories on the local front all coming up in sports after this. We begin from some news back home in Ghana where the GFA has officially launched a partnership with Multipack, who produced a 5-star energy drink as its new sponsor at the ceremony held today at the association's here in Accra. The 4-year partnership deal will supply 5-star energy drinks to all national teams under the GFA. Now, speaking at the ceremony, President of the GFA, Kurt Edwin Kweku, emphasized the importance of partnership. And that's it for the sporting bit on the bulletin. Back to you, Kweku, for the rest of the news.
All right, Benghazi, thank you very much. And we're looking forward to some more sports updates come tomorrow. Well, that's about it for tonight. I'm grateful for your time. Bulletin led by Musalansa. On behalf of the entire production team tonight, we would want to salute you. Gentle reminder, bring the family together. Ensure tonight you brush with Pepsodent. And when they ask you why, tell them with Pepsodent, every smile matters. Enjoy the rest of your evening. My name is Kweku.